The silent guardian, the edge of the Kepler sector, had always been peaceful. Trade routes flowed smoothly through the star systems, and the Galactic Council's patrol fleets maintained order with routine efficiency. But that peace shattered the moment sensors picked up an impossible reading. Captain Zarathol of the Vanguard Coalition flexed her crystalline fingers against the command console as warning lights bathed her bridge in amber glow. Her crew of seasoned officers from 3 different species worked frantically at their stations, trying to make sense of what their instruments were telling them. "Report," she commanded in the universal tongue, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had commanded fleets for over 2 decades. Lieutenant Crix, a scaled reptilian whose species prided itself on technical precision, looked up from his scanner array with obvious confusion. "Captain, we have a single vessel approaching from the restricted zone, but the readings don't match any known ship classification. The restricted zone, that was where the humans lived, on their small blue world they called Earth. The Council had placed severe limitations on human expansion after their last war nearly destroyed 3 star systems. For 50 years, humanity had remained silent, contained within their single solar system like a sleeping beast." "Show me," Zarathol ordered. The main screen flickered to life, displaying a ship unlike anything in the galactic database. It moved through space with an organic grace that seemed to defy physics. The hull appeared to be made of a dark metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, and strange energy patterns danced across its surface like living veins. "Size estimate?" the captain asked. "Approximately 2 kilometers in length, but mass readings are inconsistent. Sometimes it registers as heavy as a moon, other times as light as a fighter craft." Crix replied, his voice uncertain. Navigator Tessa, a 4-armed cerulean known for her calm demeanor, spoke up. "Captain, it's not responding to our hails, and it's heading directly for the commercial shipping lanes." Zarathol felt a chill run through her exoskeleton. After 50 years of silence, why would humans venture beyond their borders now, and with a ship that defied every known law of engineering? "Bring us to intercept course. Signal the patrol fleet to form defensive formation Beta 7. She paused, studying the mysterious vessel. "And send a priority message to Council Command. They need to know about this." As the Vanguard Coalition and its escort vessels moved to intercept the human ship, the mysterious craft seemed to notice them for the first time. It slowed its approach, but didn't change course. Instead, it began to emit a low-frequency pulse that made every alien crew member feel uneasy. "Warning shots across their bow," Zarathol commanded. "Standard Council protocol for unidentified vessels." The patrol fleet's energy cannons fired precise beams designed to get attention without causing damage. But something extraordinary happened. As the energy blasts approached the human ship, they simply vanished. Not absorbed, not deflected, they disappeared completely, as if they had never existed. The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of life support systems. "Did we miss?" Zarathol asked quietly. "Negative, Captain. Direct hits confirmed. The energy just stopped existing when it reached their hull." Weapons Officer Vex reported, his usual confidence shaken. Before anyone could respond, the human ship began to change. Its hull rippled like liquid metal, sections rotating and reconfiguring. What had appeared to be a sleek vessel moments before now resembled something more organic, more alive. Sensor arrays that looked like eyes opened along its length, and the energy patterns on its surface pulsed faster, like a quickening heartbeat. "Captain," Tessa whispered, "I don't think that's just a ship." The human vessel stopped completely, hanging in space like a predator studying its prey. Then, without warning, it spoke. Not through communication channels, but directly into the minds of every crew member on every ship in the patrol fleet. The voice was calm, measured, and undeniably human. I am the Defiance. I carry a message from Earth to the Galactic Council. Stand aside. Zarathol's crew looked to her with fear in their eyes. Telepathic communication was considered impossible by Council science. Yet here was a human ship speaking directly into their thoughts. This is Captain Zarathol of the Galactic Council Patrol Fleet. You are in violation of the containment accords. Power down your engines and prepare to be escorted back to Earth space. The response came not as words, but as images flooding their minds. They saw Earth as it was 50 years ago during the expansion wars. They witnessed human colonies burning. Under Council bombardment, they felt the desperation of a species pushed to the brink of extinction, and they understood that the quiet years hadn't been surrender. They had been preparation. The accords were broken the day you decided we were too dangerous to exist freely, the ship replied. We have spent 5 decades becoming something you could never contain. Stand aside, or learn why the Council was right to fear us. Captain Zarathol found herself facing an impossible decision. Her orders were clear. No human vessels were to leave their solar system. But this wasn't just a human vessel. This was something that challenged every assumption about what was possible in the galaxy. Signal the fleet to maintain formation. But do not fire unless fired upon, she ordered. And get me a direct line to Council command. They need to know that the humans haven't been hiding these past 50 years. They've been evolving. As the Defiance resumed its course toward the galactic core, leaving the stunned patrol fleet in its wake, messages began flying through quantum communication networks. Within hours, every major government, every military command, and every intelligence agency in the galaxy would know the same thing. Humanity was back. And they had become something terrifying. The captain's burden deep within the living metal hull of the Defiance. Captain Elena Voss stood before a wall of bioneural interfaces that pulsed with soft blue light. Her weathered hands moved across the organic controls with practiced ease, feeling the ship's responses as if they were her own heartbeat. At 45, she had spent more years bonded with this vessel than she had lived on Earth's surface. Status report, she said, her voice carrying the quiet authority of someone who had earned respect through action rather than rank. The ship's consciousness responded, not through speakers, but through the neural link they shared. In her mind, she felt the Defiance's satisfaction at the encounter with the patrol fleet, mixed with concern for what lay ahead. Patrol fleet maintains distance, but continues to follow. No hostile action detected. Hull integrity optimal. Quantum biological. Fusion systems operating at peak efficiency. The ship's voice whispered in her thoughts, distinctly separate from her own mental voice, yet intimately familiar. Elena's crew moved about their duties with the calm efficiency of people who were trained together for decades. Unlike the rigid hierarchies of most military vessels, the Defiance operated more like a living organism, with each crew member filling a vital role in maintaining the ship's hybrid biological-technological systems. Dr. Marcus Chen, her chief science officer, approached with a datapad in his hands and concern etched on his face. The elderly scientist had been one of the original researchers who had helped create the Defiance's unique fusion technology. Elena, we're getting quantum resonance readings from 17 different star systems. Word is spreading faster than we anticipated, he said. using the informal address that was common among the crew. Council military assets are mobilizing across 3 sectors. Alina nodded, having expected this response. Show me the projection models. The wall display shifted to show a 3-dimensional map of local space. Red dots representing Council. Military vessels were converging from multiple directions, like antibodies responding to an infection. Conservative estimates put their response fleet at over 300 vessels within the next 72 hours. Dr. Chen continued, Alina, are we really ready for this? Before she could answer, the ship's communications officer, Lieutenant Sarah Park, turned from her station. The young woman's hands were trembling slightly as she worked to maintain her composure. Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command. Admiral Reeves wants to speak with you personally. Alina felt a knot form in her stomach. She had hoped to delay this conversation until after they had delivered their message to the Council, but she knew that Admiral Reeves, like everyone else back on Earth, was watching the unfolding situation with growing anxiety. Put him through to my ready room, and patch in Dr. Chen and Commander Torres. The ready room was smaller than traditional. Captain's quarters, designed more for intimate discussions than formal meetings. The walls were lined with the same bioneural interfaces that ran throughout the ship, creating an environment where the Defiance could participate in any conversation. Admiral Reeves' hologram appeared in the center of the room, his lined face showing the strain of commanding Earth's defenses for the past decade. Commander Torres, Elena's tactical officer, stood quietly in the corner, her dark eyes studying the strategic displays that showed the growing Council response. Alina, Admiral Reeves began without preamble, I'm getting reports that you've engaged a Council patrol fleet that wasn't part of the mission parameters. Put him through to my ready room and patch in Dr. Chen and Commander Torres. The ready room was smaller than traditional captain's quarters, designed more for intimate discussions than formal meetings. The walls were lined with the same bioneural interfaces that ran throughout the ship, creating an environment where the Defiance could participate in any conversation. Admiral Reeves' hologram appeared in the center of the room, his lined face showing the strain of commanding Earth's defenses. For the past decade, Commander Torres, Elena's tactical officer, stood quietly in the corner, her dark eyes studying the strategic displays that showed the growing Council response. Alina, Admiral Reeves began without preamble, I'm getting reports that you've engaged a Council patrol fleet that wasn't part of the mission parameters. With respect, Admiral, the mission parameters changed the moment we left Earth space, Alina replied calmly. The Council isn't going to let us deliver our message peacefully. They never intended to. Admiral Reeves was quiet for a moment, and Alina could see the weight of command pressing down on him. Earth had bet everything on the Defiance project. If it failed, humanity would face extinction. The Council Emergency Assembly has been called into session, he said finally. Our intelligence suggests they're planning to declare the Defiance a galactic threat that would authorize unlimited military response. Dr. Chen stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming his diplomatic restraint. Admiral, they don't understand what they're dealing with. The Defiance isn't just a warship. It's a new form of life, a fusion of human consciousness and ancient technology we found in the Titan ruins. The Admiral's expression grew grave. That's exactly what they're afraid of, Marcus. To them, you're not just violating the containment accords, you're representing an evolutionary leap that could make their entire galactic order obsolete. Alina felt the ship's consciousness stir in her mind, and she sensed its growing agitation. The Defiance had been created from the ruins of an ancient civilization found buried beneath Titan's ice. The technology was beyond anything humans had previously understood, requiring a new kind of relationship between organic minds and quantum mechanical systems. The choice was made 50 years ago when they decided we were too dangerous to exist as equals, Alina said firmly. We've spent 5 decades preparing for this moment. Either we earn our place in the galaxy through strength, or we lose it through weakness. Commander Torres spoke up from her position near the tactical displays. Captain, long-range sensors are detecting major fleet movements from the Altair and Vega systems. The Council is committing resources from their home defense fleets. Alina nodded, having expected this escalation. How long until we reach the Council chambers? 18 hours at current speed, Torres replied. But we'll encounter their first response fleet in approximately 6 hours. Admiral Reeves leaned forward in his hologram, his voice carrying the weight of desperate hope. Alina is the Defiance, really capable of what our projections suggest. Alina closed her eyes and felt the ship's consciousness merge more fully with her own. For a moment, she experienced the universe as the Defiance did, feeling the gravitational currents between stars, sensing the quantum fluctuations that held space-time together, understanding the deeper connections that bound all matter and energy into a unified whole. Admiral, she said softly, the Defiance isn't just capable of defending itself. It's capable of changing how we understand the universe itself. The question isn't whether we can survive the Council's response. The question is whether the galaxy is ready for what we've become. As the conversation ended and the Admiral's hologram faded, Alina remained in her ready room, feeling the weight of command and the burden of humanity's future pressing down on her shoulders. Through her neural link with the ship, she could sense the approaching Council fleets, their crews filled with fear and determination. In 6 hours, the galaxy would discover whether humanity's 50 years of silence had made them stronger or had simply delayed their inevitable destruction. The Defiance pulsed around her like a living heart, ready to prove that sometimes the greatest threats come not from conquest, but from evolution itself. Asterisk,